Hey Frag fam, Corbin here again from Northwest Scent. Today I'm bringing you another recently discontinued fragrances video. Some of these have not necessarily been recently discontinued, but you can still find them for really good prices, and that's why they're going to be in here. Others have in fact been recently discontinued, and so because of that, the prices have not really changed since when they were still in production. In all, these fragrances you can still find for an affordable price relatively compared to how they used to be priced, and they're all worth grabbing now because some of these, the prices are changing weekly and not for the better. So if you guys are interested in hearing about these, stick around. But first, let's roll that intro. Alright, welcome back. So before we get into the main list of fragrances, really quick, you guys see this Instagram handle right here? Could you guys please go give me a follow over there? I've been trying to promote myself more on that platform, just another way to grow, and that would mean a lot. Additionally, if you guys are interested in these types of videos, I've done a few of them, and I can do more going forward as more fragrances do eventually get discontinued, unfortunately. So if you like this content, as well as anything fragrance related, please consider subscribing, and then hitting the bell notification, just so you stay up to date on new videos whenever they get released going forward. But with all that out of the way, let's get into the number 5 spot. So starting us right off at the number 5 spot, it is from Garland, and it is L'Homme Ideal Cologne. So this thing is fantastic, and I put it at the number 5 spot because I'm sure a lot of you already know this has been discontinued, but for the few that have not, this one has actually been discontinued for a few years, although the stock didn't really start drying up until about a year ago. You can still find it here and there on discounters, although it's not consistently on them. You'll be able to find this more so on the Facebook fragrance groups, as well as eBay from trusted sellers on there. And it's still going for a decent price. You can see it for around the $40 to $50 range at this point, and that can be for the 50 or the 100 ml. It really depends on who you encounter, but this thing used to sell for this 100 milliliter size for $25 on the discounters. So it used to be extremely cheap. Now it's just kind of on the higher end of cheapy, or like the lower end of mid-tier designers as far as pricing goes, but it is such a great summer fragrance. I kind of consider this a summer gourmand. You have this fruit basket of citruses at the top with some pink pepper. There's also almond in here, which is the signature note for this Ideal line, and then you even get some neroli and white musk, and it all kind of blends together to give you a creamy, like lemon meringue pie kind of vibe. So it is a little bit gourmandish in a way. The pink pepper, the almond, and then the neroli kind of give you that creamy effect. And then all those citruses at the top kind of give me this like lemon aroma. And it just makes this really edible smelling, fantastic smelling summer fragrance. This is a great long-lasting summer freshie. So if you guys are looking for something like that, this is a great one. This is a dumb reach fragrance, not off-putting in the slightest, so you could wear this basically anywhere. I think even casually or formally this works great, and it is still quite relevant. So you guys should go check this out now and pick it up while you can on the somewhat reasonable end of pricing. So again, at the number 5 spot, that was Garland L'Homme Ideal Cologne. So next at the number 4 spot, we have a fragrance from Tom Ford. This one is just a great classic men's fragrance. It is Tom Ford for Men. So this fragrance was actually, I believe, the first Tom Ford fragrance that was released. A lot of his fragrances tend to lean unisex, but this is definitely a masculine leaning one, and it's one that he marketed towards men, hence the name for men. This kind of comes across like a citrus aromatic. I kind of think it smells barbershoppy, but not a lot of people agree with that. It just kind of smells like a classic men's fragrance. You got notes like lemon leaf oil, ginger, there's tobacco, there's some spices, you get cedar, vetiver, even some violet leaf. And there's actually a lot of fragrance notes in this fragrance. It's fairly complex as far as the note breakdown goes, but it's just a classic mature smelling men's fragrance. If you were looking for something that just makes you smell elegant, mature, but still very clean and then manly, this is a great one. It has been discontinued recently within the last few months, but you can still find it basically going for the same prices that it was before the discontinuation, which is usually around the like $50 to like $90-ish range for this 100 milliliter size. It just really depends on where you look. So definitely worth checking out now if you just want something that makes you smell very classy. Again, that was Tom Ford's for Men. Next at the number 3 spot, it's a fragrance from John Varvatos. Now, I do not actually own a bottle of this stuff. I have tried it countless times, as well as getting decants and samples, so I am fairly familiar with the scent. I will put a picture of it right here. It is John Varvatos Artisan Pure. So this is a nice summer fragrance from John Varvatos. The house tends to lean towards more wintry or just darker scents, it seems, but this is a great one for the warm weather. You get a lot of citruses at the top, but you also have some herbaceous notes like thyme, marjoram, petitgrain. There's even woody notes in this, as well as orris root. So you get a lot going on here. It smells very high quality. It comes across a little bit milky, very herbal, and then citrusy. It just has this nice, mature, very clean scent to it. So if you're looking for something that is just warm and uplifting, but maybe a little bit more mature at the same time because it has a lot of those herbaceous notes, that's a great one. I do have Givenchy Gentleman Cologne, which this one smells strikingly similar to that fragrance. Maybe this one's a little bit more high quality. But for the price difference, I would actually lean towards the John Varvatos. You can find the 125 milliliter size bottles for $40, somewhere around there, whereas these 100 milliliters go for about $55, $60. So I think that one's definitely a better buy for a very similar scent. It's just a amazing, like I said, classy summer fragrance. Similar to kind of Dior Eau Sauvage Cologne, where it has a lot of citruses and it is uplifting, but it has a classiness to it as well. These don't smell the same as that one, but it kind of gives you the same vibe. So it's definitely worth picking up now because the prices on that one are gonna go up since it is arguably the most popular John Varvatos fragrance. So again, at the number 3 spot, that was John Varvatos Artisan Pure. So coming in at the number 2 spot, we have another summer fragrance. This one is fantastic for the super, super high heat. It is Mercedes-Benz Cologne. So this one gets a lot of comparison to Dior Homme Cologne, and I definitely agree with that. When I first smelled this fragrance, which I actually did in a initial impressions video, that's the first thing I thought of was Dior Homme Cologne. So if you're looking for something like that, but on a budget, this is a great one because that fragrance can be fairly expensive, not to mention the poor performance you get from it. This one has the same performance, if not a little bit better. It smells just as good to me, and you get a lot of juice in this bottle. It's 120 milliliters, and you can find these around the $40 to $60 range depending on which size you get. This one has some lemon verbena in it, and then there's some vetiver as well, so you get a little bit more of an herbaceous quality from this. Not a ton, just a hint of it. So this one might come across just a little bit more mature, but it is a very similar scent. And like I said, you can still find this on the low end. Even after its discontinuation, you can still find this for much cheaper than Dior Homme Cologne. In fact, I do have a link to the website I bought this from, and they still have plenty in stock. So I will link that down below. If you're interested in buying this fragrance, go get it from that website because that's the only place I have currently found it in stock at. And I don't know when they're gonna get more after they run out. This is a fragrance you wanna pick up now. So again, at the number 2 spot, that was Mercedes-Benz Cologne. And finally, at the number 1 spot, we have a fragrance that has been discontinued for quite a while now. I do not know the exact date of discontinuation, but I want to say it was at least 5 years ago. Nonetheless, you might be wondering, why is it in this video then?
I say, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
Reason being is discounters just discovered a huge lot of this sitting around somewhere, and they all restocked it. Unfortunately, they all sold out basically immediately. However, one of them, which I discovered this from Max Forte, so all credit of this goes to him, fragrancebuy.ca, which is a great discounter. It's my favorite discounter. I use them all the time. They are actually getting a restock of this next week. So from the posting of this video, it's probably gonna be about 4 or 5 days away, and it's definitely gonna be on the low end. I imagine it's gonna be somewhere between $40 and $60 for a 100 milliliter size, and it's definitely worth grabbing at that price point. It is Paco Rabanne Ultra Red. So this fragrance, it's a flanker to Ultraviolet, which is a great classic men's Paco Rabanne fragrance. That one's from 2001, I believe, and I think this one came out in 2007. That one goes in like a minty, kind of fresh, herbaceous direction. This one is completely different. You really can't tell they're flankers just based on the smell. This has a really nice blood orange at the top, but pretty soon it transfers over and you get a little bit of a gourmand touch to this. Actually, a lot of gourmand touch. There's tonka bean, vanilla, there's patchouli, and then a really unique praline note in the dry down of this fragrance. So this just smells spicy, chocolatey, a little bit caramely, very sweet, and then mixing with that blood orange, which gives it a nice freshness. This thing smells fantastic. I'm not gonna say it smells niche quality because it doesn't. You can definitely tell it is somewhat synthetic, but the scent itself is amazing. I haven't smelled anything that smells like Ultra Red, and I am super glad I was able to get a bottle. You guys should definitely try and get one yourselves. So again, check the link down in the description. That is to the Ultra Red listing on Fragrance Buy. When you're watching this at release, it should be out of stock currently, but you can set up your email to notify you when they do get a restock, and then you can grab it from there. I don't know how many items they're gonna be getting in, but it's definitely worth just jotting down and then checking in. And if you guys can secure a bottle of this stuff, I definitely recommend it. I do imagine the discounters will probably get more stock going forward because they did discover this new supply. So you might be able to catch it if you miss it at Fragrance Buy somewhere else. But again, this is a fantastic, fresh gourmand fragrance. This is one that I would say is more oriented towards the summer, and it, again, is super unique, nothing like it. And I definitely recommend you guys try and grab this from this restock at Fragrance Buy. So again, at the #1 spot, that was Paco Rabanne Ultra Red. Well, there you go. Those are 5 discontinued fragrances you should consider picking up now. And honestly, I would recommend just grabbing a bottle if any of these even slightly interest you. If you guys enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate dropping a like just to show your support. And then that way more people can see my videos on YouTube. Additionally, like I said earlier, if you're interested in anything fragrance related, including these discontinued fragrances lists, as well as reviews, top 10 lists, top 5 lists, or just any kind of fragrance news, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell notification if you have not already, just so you stay up to date on new videos whenever they get released going forward. But with all that out of the way, that's all I really have for you guys today. So I hope you have a good one. Stay healthy, stay wealthy, and smell great.